Hello, everyone. Today I am very excited about our 38th interview from the ToolSense interview series Workshop Talks. I am Richard and part of the communications team here at ToolSense, and our guest today is Ashlyn Lockett, Operations Manager at HWC Logistics. Hello and welcome to you.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. And then, like always, I would like to introduce Alexander Manafi, CEO and co-founder of ToolSense. Ms. Lockett, perhaps you could tell us a few sentences about yourself and HWC Logistics, like where you are based and how many employees do you have and what your daily business consists of.
Yes, absolutely. So we are a 3PL. So we have a distribution, imports, exports, and transportation division. We are based in Atlanta, Georgia, and we have right around 100 employees.
Thank you very much for these insights. What I'm also very much interested in is your connection to and the discovery of ToolSense. How did you first get in touch with and how did you find out about ToolSense?
Honestly, it was a very quick Google search. Y'all were one of the first ones that populated. But prior to ToolSense, we were just using a quality management system to kind of house, a couple other projects. And it had a small maintenance management module within it. And we just wanted something a little more inclusive. So went to Google, and you were the very first one that popped up. And Leela, she was amazing through the whole onboarding process.
We're happy to hear that. And you kind of answered the next question already, but as you said, you had a tool before ToolSense. What were the operational challenges that made you think about maybe we should look for another solution?
Right. So we're a small business, right around 100 employees, and we've always had our own maintenance shop to kind of maintain our fleet of trucks. But with our last system, they were also doing the paper and the setup and the managing and the prioritizing and kind of all that goes into the management of or the maintenance of our fleet. So ToolSense, the real draw to me was the fact the QR codes have been a game changer for us. And now our employees can do their pre and post trip inspections for a forklift and our fleet of trucks, and then they can submit those work orders, and that allows our maintenance team to prioritize from the very beginning. They can see, oh, this is a headlight, or we have a flat tire, we need to move on that quickly. And he's not having to kind of sift through all of the equipment in the shop. So the QR codes and the ability for the employees to set up those work orders and those tickets has been a game changer.
So you already mentioned some aspects like that add value on the ToolSense side for your company. Is there anything more? Like, why did you decide, like, finally to partner with ToolSense? What were the aspects?
That was honestly a huge deciding factor. We only have two shop techs, so to alleviate some of that work from them, that was huge. Another big piece, and I honestly didn't know this going into onboarding with ToolSense, was the ability for our third-party vendors to also kind of communicate through the email and kind of update statuses through that email once you kind of set them up as followers. So that communication has also really been beneficial for us because they would have communication with the shop, but the rest of the team wouldn't necessarily know where that third party was in the process. So now that they can communicate through that email and it's all recorded in the ticket notes, that has also been very helpful for managing our fleet.
That's awesome. We love to hear that. And also, you already mentioned our colleague Leela. How was your the experience with the support and customer success efforts here at ToolSense for your onboarding, especially?
So I've had Leela and Julia, and they have both been phenomenal, very helpful. Julia is very patient. I have a lot of questions, and she has answered all of them with so much patience. She's led me. I've presented her some of the issues that we're seeing, and she was actually the one that suggested we submit the third-party vendors as a follower so that we can have that open line of communication. And that really has just been extremely helpful. So I have nothing but amazing things to say.
Awesome. No complaints so far. We like to hear that. If you like take a look in the future, maybe what is your vision for the partnership between HWC Logistics and ToolSense?
So, I mean, like I said, everything has been absolutely great. Julia is actually the one that helps me kind of envision more. We have a very small fleet and a very small work team. So honestly, I just wanted to help alleviate some of that stress, that work off of them. But Julia is the one that has really helped me see what ToolSense can do in all these different facets, with the example of third-party vendors and that communication. I would love to see a little more connectivity in inventory and parts. Just when we purchase parts to fix a truck, a headlight, and we order 10, I would like for that ticket to take out 1 when we use it, to kind of help other people know what our inventory levels are, just that added level of visibility. But that's obviously later on down the road and something that Julie and I have talked about here recently.
You already talked about some situations and use cases where ToolSense supports you now. What would you say like are the ones where you can save through ToolSense like time and money now, thanks to the operations platform?
So we have, again, the time saver for our maintenance team. We've actually went from 2 techs, and actually yesterday we dropped down to 1. So the fact that we've already kind of eliminated that extra step in the prioritization and even the communication from accounting to the shop for pieces that were purchased and getting approval for those purchases, ToolSense has sped that process up tremendously through the follower capabilities. And they get the accounting team will get that email, and that's their notice to be on the lookout for these invoices. And then they update the status with approval needed or approved. And so that has really helped even that communication, something that it wasn't even on my radar to fix a problem. So it's really helped in multiple departments. Time saving for sure.
So Ashlyn, like you said actually that you like even were able to like work more efficiently than in the tech team. Like how would the process work before? Would then really one tech always run around to accounting and all these things? Or like how would that actually work?
Yes, it was a very manual process. We actually had an Excel sheet for like PM as an example. We had an Excel sheet, and through that Excel sheet, I would manually update the hours every week for all of our units. And if it were past the maintenance, the PM schedule, it would turn red. So we would maybe have 3 units that were due for maintenance that week. And then I would have to communicate that with our warehouse manager to get the forklifts to the shop, and then the shop would have to fix it from there. But now we have the odometers already set up, and the employees can scan that ticket in on the floor immediately. There's no lag. I wouldn't get that information 3-4 days after, the work order should have been submitted. So there was definitely a lag with our previous process, and this ToolSense has really sped that whole process up.
So would you say also that the downtime maybe got reduced even?
Yeah, absolutely. We were seeing, and honestly, a lot of it was the shop didn't even have time to set up work orders. So there were a lot of times that equipment was being fixed, maintained, and no one else would have that visibility, just because that wasn't the priority. The priority is to fix the fleet. right? So the paperwork and the documentation and visibility was kind of an afterthought. And so the fact that it's in their face and they can prioritize from there has definitely, yes, downtime.
And are we talking about like a couple hours of downtime or like 2-3 days of downtime on average? What do you think?
I would say weeks.
Weeks of downtime,
Yes.
really?
Yes.
Wow.
An employee would see an issue and he would report it, to a manager, and the manager gets distracted and they don't tell me for, until they see me again. Could be 3 or 4 days. In the meantime, that unit is down or there's something wrong with it. So downtime has definitely been reduced tremendously.
That's really nice to hear. Thank you for that insight in like the company processes. If we take a little step back maybe and think about the digitalization, where do you see the status quo of digitalization in the logistics industry, and what do you think will change in the next 10 years?
Honestly, logistics, everything has to be digitized. Everyone expects information right now. So the fact that everything is moving in that direction, and really, again, back to the visibility, really provides that visibility to allow me to communicate with my employees and our customers on where that downtime equipment is, has been very helpful in just the transparency and communication, even with customers.
Alex, would you like to add something here?
I mean, maybe what would be interesting is like, because of course, on the one hand, also you're using telematics, right, for the fleet, right, and another Samsara. I don't know. I don't think that's a secret. It's a very well-known product, right? And on the other hand, also you've looked at like a lot of different CMMS systems and like, so like you already mentioned the QR codes, but like more than that, like what else could you say, like how ToolSense maybe stood out, or like what made you really choose ToolSense, or was it really this, okay, actually that whole QR code process was just so unique looking at the other CMS solutions you looked at? What would be your take there?
Yes, honestly, it was the QR codes that really drew me in, and being able to take that workload off of our maintenance team. But also, I loved the capability of the status updates. That was something that our last system did not have, and it was either open or it was closed. So it could have been open for 2 weeks, but I don't know if they're working on it. I don't know if they're purchasing parts. I don't know if we're waiting on approval to purchase parts. I didn't know where we were in that process. And so the status updates for each ticket, and the fact that different, contributing departments can update that in real time with as easy as just an email click, a click of a button. I mean, that was definitely a draw as well.
That's really nice to hear, and that's already the end of our little interview. Thank you really much for this exciting exchange and your quality insights into your company's processes and how ToolSense positively affected the processes and reduced downtime by, as you said, weeks. We always like to hear that. It was very pleased to meet you and that you took part in today's call. Thanks a lot, and perhaps we will hear from each other again soon.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Richard and Alex. It was a pleasure.